Hello, love. It has been a minute, but I am excited to kind of feel that call back out. I think it's been a couple months at this point, being in this very, very deep introspection and grieving and just being shifted from not just even one season of life to another, but an entire shift on my purpose. And I think on your side of the things, it's really not going to look much different, but the alignment within myself and how I'm being called to shift and step up and serve, and just the way in which I'm being asked to kind of elevate, and I don't even have the verbiage to explain it, but just that shift that I'm being asked to kind of facilitate moving forward has been a struggle to let go of previous visions, hopes, dreams, and goals to a point of being in, I don't want to say the darkest night of the soul that I've been through, but definitely up there. It has been a very intense year now of journeying, and about 6 months where I hit a really hard blow that came from my divine masculine that set off an intense spiritual catalyst. So there's been a lot of healing, a lot of shifting and having to understand things on such a multi-dimensional level that I've been very much anticipating this call back out. And I got that go ahead, and I was sitting down to kind of write those reflections, because I've stepped away from even my journaling, and I've used other approaches and just ways of processing, finding new ways of processing. And I sat down to write out this journal that I've come through this and these epiphanies and how I'm ready to step back out, and that deep readiness within my soul, knowing, it's a knowing of what is incoming. And I knew in all of the ways that it would be in Virgo season. And even my spirit babies have been saying Virgo season for about 6 to 9 months now. And I didn't quite know what that meant. And, 2020 hindsight, that's here now. So here, excited to step into this role even further, serving as a divine feminine, as an oracle, among so many other things. So let's see what is going on in the collective, where some of this energy might be mirrored, how we're being asked to serve, step up, and further lead you on your own personal journeys wherever you are. So let's see. We have 9 of Voices and 9 of Inspiration. So 9, if that means anything for anyone, or perhaps you resonate with that show. 9. 9 of Voices and 9 of Inspirations kind of is like two sides of the coin here with this energy. It's this sense of having almost too much information to process, this 9 of Inspirations or 9 of Voices, and all of that input that needs to kind of be, you have to go through it. You have to look at all of those things, the belief system, the narratives. We have so much information coming at us all the time, and we also have our conditionings, and we have societal expectations, and all of these different aspects that we kind of have to juggle, and we have to go through, and we have to sift through these things. And it's from these deep introspective spaces in which we can find those threads of truth, in which we find that clarity, and we're able to kind of funnel it through and distill what it is that we're taking away, how we're growing, we're shifting, we're changing, and what ultimately is of use to us moving forward. What are we taking forward with us that allows us to really become the person that we know we need to be or again, rediscover that true core identity and put them out into the world so that we can create that life that we want to create, that we're meant to create, however it is that you individually are being called forward. And this night of inspirations, that's kind of what comes out of this, is once it's all been distilled down, and I absolutely love the imagery here because it literally looks like that funnel, right? Once it becomes distilled down, that's where that clarity comes, and that's where that passion gets reignited. And one thing I absolutely love here is the Oracle Gate, and my favorite movie, Never Ending Story. You come up to these gates, you come up to these portals in your journey, these waypoints, and it requires such an immense amount of faith to be able to pass through them. And if you are not prepared, if you have not learned your lessons, if in some way, shape, or form, you haven't gotten what you need, you haven't distilled all those things, you're not going to be able to get past that waypoint. You're going to be stuck there. And we experience this at many different phases in our journey. We experience it at the onset. For many people, when they first have that awakening, you need someone to help guide you. You feel very disoriented and lost, and like you don't know where to start with it. And I think that's one of the biggest questions that I have people come to me, really no matter where they are on their journey, is just like, how do I do this? Where do I go from here? Because there really is no blueprint. Even with those like me who are doing their very best to share their stories and give you those insights to help you, your journey is your own. The things that you're meant to learn and experience and take away, there's no one who can do that other than yourself. So when you get up to these spaces, it really forces you to rely on divinity, whatever it is that you believe, that higher power, that higher order of things, to kind of get you through, to rely on that faith that whatever you're experiencing and whatever those struggles and challenges and trials and tribulation, they're for a purpose. They're there to help you realign with your core truth. They're help to make you stronger and to create you and mold you into the leader that you are meant to be in this life, and however it is that you're being called to serve with whatever gifts that you've been given, right? Because we all have different purposes here, and ultimately that's what it's about. So let's see, what else do we need to know about this energy? Hanged Muse and Knight of Emotions. So there is a shift in perspective that is happening across the collective, where having distilled this information and gotten to the meat of those core conditionings and the things that you have to unlearn. Perhaps it's within your belief system, the way that you were raised, whatever it may be. Once you start to see how things repeat and pattern, and how you're showing up and how it's affecting different things in your life, it gives you that awareness, and it allows you to start to make those tweaks and those shifts and that personal refinement, so that you have that clarity, you have that inner insight where you can tap back really deep down within yourself and ask yourself that question: does that resonate as truth for me? Does this feel like the real me? Right? And I think a lot of us really struggle with that at various points of our journey, because there's this disillusionment that happens with who we think we are, who and how we've experienced life, and that it's a very rough process to go through that. But you're being encouraged to take action with this Knight of Emotions from a heartfelt space. And I absolutely love this card because it has the shell there, which is the Fibonacci sequence, and the journey itself, if you know the Unalome, and that's what my sternum tattoo kind of is about, is that journey. It's that journey inward. It's a spiral, it's a labyrinth. The journey goes inward and then it comes back outward, and it's a long journey, and that's mimicked within our DNA, within nature, within all of creation. It's that journey inward, and it's going deeper down into those deep dark parts of yourself to ascertain that truth, to come to that enlightenment into that pineal gland, right? And then to tap down into your core truth, into your heart, and to allow for that to lead the way, right? Because that's your light, that's your truth, and that's what guides your way back out from that darkness. What else does the collective need to know? Whoa, that's some big energy. We have 6 of materials coming out here. So there's this sense of rebalancing between all things, really. The mental, emotional, the spiritual, the physical. Bringing all of those things back into a sense of balance and equilibrium so that you can take that energy and create something within your life that is tangible. And this is being confirmed with the Lovers here, because ultimately the Lovers represent that internal masculine feminine energy, and it's not until that energy is balanced within yourself that you're going to be able to experience it outside of yourself, right? Until those masculine feminine parts are healed, you're not really going to be able to juggle those aspects and have them work seamlessly outside of your life. And even myself, I've cycled through that so many times, because different seasons of life, different things that we do is going to ask more of one type of energy or the other, and it's very hard to not just balance them, but to find what part of ourselves needs to step up or to step down, and we're not taught how to do that, right? And we see this so much with women in particular being in such a masculine energy, and there's so many reasons for that. Just lack of healthy masculinity because of the war on masculinity, which is just a whole big rabbit hole. Would love to get into it. We don't have time. But it's much more evident in the feminine collective, seeing them take on these masculine roles, these masculine energies, and just overall that feminine energy being demonized and not being able to soften, not being able to trust. And that goes for male, female, however you identify that aspect of yourself, gets so dampened, and especially in terms of trust and faith. And that's where it comes back to that greater journey, and this need to rely on the universe and the divine and the grand order of things. Being able to do that, being able to sit in that energy, is the divine feminine energy. And I had another colleague mention in one of their recent videos how that energy of worry is a very masculine energy, right? It's that providing, it's that protecting, and we get so stuck in that energy, and it's a very masculine energy. But that masculine energy is so quick to burn out, and the way that it heals is going back to the feminine and softening. And that's why you need to be able to balance it within yourselves as well as within your outward life, whether that be in your partnership or within your family dynamic or whatever that is. Being able to have that conscious awareness of, hey, I'm in a more masculine or feminine energy, and allowing or asking for those around you to step up into the opposite energy to support you, right? And that comes back to feminine healing, being able to verbalize and vocalize from that throat chakra what it is that you need. And that is so hard. And I know for a fact that that's been one thing that took a long time for me to heal, being hyper independent, and even for my divine masculine, for them to heal, to be able to verbalize what it is that they need, even if it's I need to step away. And we have this 4 of emotions kind of confirming that information, where we get so sucked into looking at what isn't working, getting sucked into how our needs are not being met, instead of stepping up and saying, hey, I have the power within me in some way, shape, or form to balance this back out. Maybe it's stepping away and finding those processes for yourself to ground yourself and heal. And and to recharge and to allow yourself to take that time. And again, I was watching another colleague. This one was more about the division of work in a household and the mental load that's on feminines in particular, because we're constantly preemptively thinking about all the things that have to be done and the amount of mental stress that that causes. And that in turn causes physical illnesses, right? And you could be completely exhausted, but because you know that there's so many things that have to be done, you just get up and do it, because doing it and getting it out of the way is a lot better than, you know, sitting with that mental load. And it takes a lot to be able to vocalize, hey, I need this help, because mentally I need to unplug, I need to disconnect, I need to soften into my feminine, and it's really hard to do nothing. I have been forced to sit into seasons, even now, where I am told to do nothing, and I tell you, it is so hard, it is so triggering, but it forces you into faith like nothing I have ever experienced. Can we get some guidance or for the collective? 7 of materials. So all of the energy that you are outputting, know that it's not for nothing. Whether it be projects in your life or healing or whatever the case may be, all of the energy that you output has a purpose. It has an intention. And while you may not see the fruition of things immediately, eventually that energy does have to materialize. It will materialize in some way, shape, or form. And if you can let go and relax and not be so rigid in how you are expecting it to show up, then you will be more open to things materializing in a way that you may not expect, but very much fulfills your needs. And again, that comes back to feminine healing. Another thing that I had to really learn was to widen that perspective or shift that perspective to see how is support being provided in my life, and how can I utilize that to get more of what I need. A really good example of that is how my co-parent shows up. It's not always advantageous or, you know, what I would have hoped for, but I make the most of it, and I make the most of, you know, time or resources in whatever way, shape, or form, and reallocate or readjust things in my life to make the most of it. And by doing that, I've really shifted into my feminine and been able to shift my energy to be more productive in a feminine way, not in a masculine way, which has been a very interesting experience. All right, is there anything else that the collective needs to know about the current energy? Anything they need to know? So Page of Emotions, Knight of Inspirations, kind of just reconfirming what we've been talking about here, and this need to tap back into the heart and allow the heart to lead, and allow for that to be what stirs you into taking action in your life. Definitely feeling that right now for myself, because when you take that heartfelt action, when you allow yourself that time to sink back and relax and realign with yourself, it allows you to take that action from a very passionate place, and people can see and feel that passion. They can feel when you are being true and authentic to yourself. And not only that, being in that energy allows for you to create very healthy boundaries. It allows you to set those boundaries with yourself, whether it be around time management or things that you are or aren't willing to do or allow into your life. I'm hearing a lot of this is work related, so perhaps you may be experiencing some challenges in your work or career where you're having a hard time either balancing work and life, or expectations that are being put on you, or doing something that isn't in your realm of duties that you're not quite comfortable with. So be willing to speak up and stand up for yourself. If there is something that doesn't sit right with you, be vocal about that. There's a lot of throat chakra energy coming here. Not quite a blockage, but it feels like an irritation this entire time. My sides of my throat are feeling irritated, like, not like choked up, but like you're itching to say something, but you're holding yourself back. All right, is there anything else we need to know before we close out? The Moon, Three of Voices, Page of Voices. So just be careful of the stories and narratives that you are telling yourself. They're an illusion, and to kind of cut through your own bullshit in a sense here, there is a narrative or a belief that you are holding that is keeping you from the door of opportunity that you've been waiting for. The door is there, the opportunity is there, but your fears and your disbelief is what's holding you back, and it's all completely an illusion. So it's kind of like a get out of your own head situation here. Know that you can always ask for the help that you need, whether that be of your spiritual team or within your life, counselors, friends, family, what have you. You're definitely being encouraged to vocalize what it is that you need to be able to clearly and confidently step forward into whatever this door of opportunity that is presenting itself for you. And I absolutely love that. So I hope that resonated for you in some way, shape, or form. I am starting to come back out. I will start offering sessions again. If you ever have questions, comments, concerns, my inbox is always open. I'm always willing to field those for you. And hopefully now that we are stepping out into this beautiful new season and this beautiful new calling, we'll have more to say and share and further guide you along in your journey so that you can make empowered choices for yourself. Be the leader that you are meant to be and serve of your gifts for yourself, your family, your community, and the greater collective. See you around.